We've done it. We're going to do both shows this week.
2 shows in 1 week.
Just like the old days.
It's almost like this team's going to the World Cup.
Yeah. We had been kind of lax since they missed out. That first week, the night they missed, and then the following Thursday, of course, we did shows because, we had a lot to talk about on our minds. But since then, we've been not the most disciplined with the shows. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, we're not doing a show if we don't feel like talking about soccer, because why would you want to watch that? And if there's nothing we want to talk about, we're just not going to do a show. But tonight, there is stuff we want to talk about. So you are in luck. We're doing a show. It is Thursday. It is USFanTV. I am Pat, and he is Chris.
You know what that means? That means I'm Chris.
First
you
off,
guys just heard I just opened a bottle of champagne.
Did you do it with a knife?
No, I should. That would have been awesome.
Like
I just boom right into the screen.
Nice.
Savor a bottle.
Tell us about the jacket.
La boîte de champagne.
That is a jacket you cannot buy in stores that everybody wants to buy in stores.
This is the sex jacket. I have no clue why it's called that.
Because sex is good, and so is that jacket.
Indeed. I ordered it and was all excited to get it. And then we decided to shit can our attempts, our plan at the path to the World Cup. So it was a total letdown when it arrived. It's like, oh, I really like this. I got it like 2 days after that game. This is the first time I've worn it in any kind of capacity.
How's it feel?
My glass of champagne.
Nice. I have LaCroix. So I'm also French.
I was drinking wine before, but I think the only other bottle of wine we had in the house was a bottle of champagne. So my girlfriend decided to open that.
Why not?
Exactly. To USFanTV.
There we go. Yeah. So here's what we have tonight on the agenda. The women play in about 54 minutes if the start time
is...
Yeah. In Vancouver, which, as I told you on Tuesday, is one of my favorite cities I've ever been to. It's absolutely spectacular, and I think we should take it.
It is close enough. I mean, then again,
alter the border that much.
In many ways, like Canada could just become part of the U.S. I mean, it's sort of, my issue for those of you who know that I have.
I don't think they want that.
They don't. That's actually my problem. Is Canada's sort of like the U.S. without responsibility. And they'll say, we've been involved in all the world wars too, blah, blah, whatever. I'm not going to get into all the politics. I have stupid reasons, I will admit, for disliking Canada.
I like Canada. It is.
I've enjoyed
beautiful.
visiting.
The people are very nice, especially Vancouver. Right? Vancouver's ridiculous. It's fun. The area around the BC place where the USWNT is tonight, there may be some needle users in that area. And it's sort of like where Vancouver's like, we kind of put them in an area. That area happens to be kind of by the stadium, but they've also got some cool stuff kind of on the other side of the stadium. So yeah, it's a spectacular city if you haven't been. I just looked on the Twitter. I don't see a lineup announced for tonight yet. So
I have not seen one either.
Yeah.
So
not that it, I mean, here's the thing with these friendlies. Usually with the women, we don't usually even talk about them because it's like, oh, they beat Romania 9-0. I can't gather anything from that.
Yeah.
But tonight they're playing a real team. They might not be good at men's soccer, but really neither are we. But both countries are good at women's soccer.
They're getting better. So
yeah. Both countries are good at women's soccer. They're two major players, and they're going to do like a home and home thing, which is kind of cool too. So it is a rare instance where the women are going to play a friendly. Not here. They do this occasionally in like Scandinavia and then occasionally with Canada. And tonight's one of those nights. So hopefully for them, for their purposes, it's a strong Canadian atmosphere and they can, test themselves against a rough home crowd. I suspect being 2 hours from Seattle, it will not be. So, and then, if you're a Sid LaRue fan, she's from Vancouver, but she plays for the U.S. So who do you cheer for there? I think you got to cheer for the U.S. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah.
Since Dom is going to play for the U.S. next week,
Portugal. Yeah.
All we need is Sidney LaRue to play, and then we can do the Sydney Dwyer, Dom Dwyer, Yaya Kolo Toure chant.
Do not believe she is on this roster.
I think she's
Correct me if I'm
still.
wrong, but
I think she's still out following. I mean, their kids, what? Maybe not a year yet, but
she's played. She played in the
I mean,
NWSL since then. But
yeah, yeah. I mean, I just think she's not. I think she comes in when, like, I think at this point in her career and with the family and stuff, I think it's sort of like, yeah, when you really need me, but until then, I kind of got stuff to do.
probably it's kind of how my life is. I get called into special things when you really need me, like the show. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about them
Exactly.
when we see a roster announced. But I mean, for me, I would expect something like 2-2 is what I'm feeling tonight.
Yeah, that's probably a fair assessment. My guess would be, well, I mean, based on the way they've shown, I don't know, maybe 2 goals is expecting too much. But then again, I don't know. I don't know what to say about this team. They're a bit like the men right now, where it's like anything could kind of happen. They could go out and they could kick someone's ass. They could suck.
The good news for them is they're not as far along in their cycle, so they can afford to work out the kinks right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
like they sort of have been, and then get it tuned up for next year when they really have to have it in full gear for qualification. Whereas we did that in the hex. The men, when I say we, I mean the men did that in the hex. So the women are a little bit further along in that regard. So we'll monitor Twitter. Wait. Do we have a roster? No, we don't. All right, so we're going to do...
It's more than a game. We are not commenting on that because that will get us in trouble.
El Gol. You know, I think you subscribe to El Gol, don't you?
Sí. Es la mejor.
They say Real Madrid wants Pulisic and Julian Weigl. They want to take them, seize them from
I mean,
Borussia Dortmund.
On the one hand, it's a Spanish publication, which already I go, oh, okay, yeah. So I take it not even with a grain of salt. I take it with like a grain of dirt. But it does kind of make sense. I mean, there's not a next generation Messi or Ronaldo right now. I don't think there's anyone. Maybe Mbappe. He's like the closest to anyone like of the like of a following generation that could be considered or is projected to be on par with those guys.
Unless you're counting Neymar.
To me, Neymar's already a finished product.
Probably.
He's also too close, I think. I mean, yes, he's younger, but he's kind of too close in age to those two for me to like consider being sort of a next generation. I mean, he's only got 5 years. Maybe is he younger than Messi? Maybe 6.
The internet
Messi's
would
30. Know. Is Neymar 23 or 24 now? I don't remember. Right. But anyway, so maybe 7. But my feeling is so maybe you could consider him. Otherwise, I think it's on to probably Mbappe, and there's nobody else that you can point to or who you can point to whom everyone is considering to be like, oh, this kid's going to be the next greatest thing. So I could see where Real Madrid is looking at just kind of sort of consolidating all the kids out there and just buying up, like, we're just going to get all the top kids like under 22 or whatever, and we'll see who turns into somebody who truly fits the tradition of Real Madrid. They've certainly got the money. They've never had a problem splashing cash on things. So I could see where they do it. But on the other hand, they tend to, like the Yankees or something, go after finished products. And I aside from Neymar, there's not one. I mean, Mbappe is the closest, and I don't think he's by no means what I would consider a finished product yet.
Well, no, he better not be. I mean, that's being 18.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my fear with Real Madrid. My fear with Real Madrid is they wouldn't care about him about Pulisic
Oh
as
no,
much as
no,
I
no.
want them to.
Yeah,
I think Dortmund cares about him a lot, and that's important at this stage because, I mean, here's the thing: at some point, very soon, if we want to have a top 10, like I mentioned Arjen Robben as a comparison with Pulisic in the last show and in other shows, if we want to have a player of that caliber, he is going to have to make a jump, make a gamble, and win that
yeah.
gamble. So it's got to happen at some point. He could stay at Dortmund. I mean, Dortmund's a great club, but
I'm,
I think he's got to go a little bit bigger to be truly as good as he can be.
yeah,
And
that's probably true.
and
Um,
for me, Bayern is a safer big club than Real Madrid for
yeah,
him,
absolutely.
even
Well,
though he'd be crossing enemy lines for his current
yeah,
fan
but
base.
then again, I mean, Dortmund is all but a feeder club for Bayern when it really comes down to it. Like, you might be the greatest challenger, but Bayern comes in with the money, Bayern comes in with the history, Bayern comes in with the trophies, and Lewandowski is.
Yeah, and Dortmund will do that thing where if it fails, they'll just buy him back for cheaper than what they sold him for
Mhm.
because they're a good, smart
Yeah,
business club. So, but yeah, I'd be scared to see him go to, and we're not talking the January window. That'd be ridiculous, I think. But maybe after the summer, I'd be a little scared to see him go to Madrid. But excited, of course. I'd be less scared and more excited to see him go to Bayern. But um, I'd be fine with him staying too. He's young enough and he's in a good enough spot. I'd be
yeah.
fine with him staying.
You know, despite the fact that Dortmund failed in the opening rounds of the Champions League this season, they're still a pretty impressive team. You know, they field some incredible players. Uh, they're a regular Champions League side. They're going to challenge for the Bundesliga title. Uh, what more can you kind of ask for aside from going to one of, say, the top five clubs in Europe?
Yeah, and that's I you have to wonder what he wants from a lifestyle standpoint too.
Yeah,
Um, it's another culture shock to go to. I guess it's more of a culture shock probably to go to Madrid than it is to Bavaria, where it's probably different than where he is now, but less so than going to Madrid. Maybe he would want to go to England. Maybe he's got something in his mind that he kind of sees his trajectory. Maybe he's open to everything. I don't know. But as we
or
get
there's always the chance too that he sees it as this is the club that took a shot at me when I was
right,
16
yeah,
or 15 or whatever however old it was he was when he moved there, and says, you know what, they've believed in me, they've gotten me here. Without them, I might just be another kid who ended up on the bench in MLS and
yeah,
nothing became of me.
yeah, and that's something that Bobby Warshaw always talks about when he's on
Exactly,
the show.
exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
he doesn't know that Pulisic's the best player we've ever produced, but it's the best player in the best situation, and that's a huge part of it. So I mean, he's in a place where they like I said earlier, they care about him, and I know they wouldn't. I mean, it depends on how much if they spend a lot of money on him at Madrid, they're going to care about him to some degree too. But
Yeah, but realistically, especially until Ronaldo leaves, that team is all about feeding Cristiano Ronaldo.
yeah,
Unless you are the next Cristiano Ronaldo, and no one is suggesting that Christian Pulisic should be the next Cristiano Ronaldo, but unless you are that guy, they're not going to. Every team caters to its number one star, but that team and that club, because they spend the kind of money they do to buy the kinds of players they do, will always be different than everyone else.
yeah.
I mean, you could still say Barcelona caters to Messi, but I'm sorry, he's Messi. I mean, to a certain extent, I'd say the same thing of sorry, he's Ronaldo. But
Plus, Messi seems like a better teammate. Messi seems more willing to, even though he's magical, to fit in with the team structure. Ronaldo seems to care more about himself than he does the team, and
well,
that's another giant force that's pulling away from Pulisic if he goes to Real Madrid. Although Ronaldo's probably going to finish his crosses, so which has been a problem of late with Dortmund. So I don't know. We have a starting lineup. just into the US Fan TV newsroom. A starting lineup for the US women against Canada tonight: Alyssa Nair in goal, Kelly O'Hara, Becky Sauerbrunn, captain, Abby Dahlkemper, Casey Short, Naperville represent. She also played for the same club my son plays for. Julie Ertz, Lindsay Horan, Samantha Mewis, Lynn Williams, Alex Morgan, and Megan Rapinoe. There you go. Pino getting a little near Seattle love there. Good to see her out there. No Carly, she's still recovering, right? I believe I saw her jersey hanging in the locker room. So she's got to be close. I believe she's close, but she's still recovering from that injury she got. So,
and our other bald has joined.
There it is.
And needs to turn on his mic.
Shut up. He's not as bald as me. Hey, TJ's here, everybody.
Yeah, sometimes you scrape the bottom of the barrel and then I show up. So
sometimes, hey, you know what? Most of the time we make fun of you on the show, and by most of the time I mean all the time. But I'm feeling kind of generous because we're a couple days away from Veterans Day, and so I would like everyone to wish TJ a happy Veterans Day because he is a veteran.
True.
Of the war in Afghanistan. So thank you for your service to our country, TJ. Now we're going to go back to making fun of you.
You know, okay. and you guys like Chris on the show every week. I get made fun of.
We make a lot of fun of Chris on this show too. At some point, the computer's gonna light on fire. He's gonna spill that champagne on it, or
a glass will fall apart in my hand.
Fucking battery caught on fire because I spilled champagne on it.
No, or his computer will spontaneously combust or some shit like that because Chris and technology just doesn't work.
It's just things. I don't think it's technology. I think it's just things that don't. Just life, the world.
Chris, when we were young, and this may still be the case now, but used to smash PlayStation controllers or whatever video game system he had at the time. Just ruin like $50 controllers over and over and over again when he got angry.
Oh, there was a point I was going through like 2 a week.
Yeah, it was like really bad. He's not joking. It was that bad.
I am totally serious. I was averaging about 2 a week for a while.
Yeah,
I think that was PS3 because I've not played PS4 online. But yeah, I was living in a loft with brick walls, and that did not go well.
Yeah. So Chris is drinking because Chris lives in Milwaukee, and that's what Milwaukee does. I see they're trying to reduce the drinking age.
Yeah.
I was going to say that because there's nothing else to do in Wisconsin, so you just drink.
Yeah, we did the 21 thing. We're going to go back to 19 there.
Yeah, they want to drop that to 19, and they want to take away the youth age for gun deer hunting. Like that you can hunt with a gun at any age.
Yeah, any age.
I turned 12 and got a gun. Like I've hunted. Really like at 8 or something. A gun, even if you get like, and you can't get smaller sized guns, but even if you get a smaller sized one, you're still talking like 6 pounds or something. Which doesn't sound like much when you just think about 6 pounds. But try holding that at arm's length. Now think about you're a child. Try holding a gun steady at arm's length. Just a regular like 8-pound gun. Like a shotgun. It's probably about 8 pounds. Try holding that. We're totally off soccer here but at this point. But
I was planning on going off soccer tonight anyway. Because
Anyway, whatever.
Also, guys, it is...
Yeah. Things are so pressing here in Wisconsin right now that... we're going to lower the drinking age, and we're going to eliminate the previous 12-year-old age you had to be to hunt with a gun.
Although to be fair, in Illinois, to get your fire owner's ID card, your FOID card, there is no minimum age to it. So when I was working at Dick's Sporting Goods, a guy actually walked in with his kid who was like a year old, and the kid had a FOID card. And the guy did it just because he thought it'd be funny.
Fantastic.
Our states are shit.
You know what, guys? It is November 9th. We are 2 days away from the 1-year anniversary of the failure in Columbus.
Oh,
no. And the birth of Lance Armstrong, the U.S. men's national team legend.
Drink strong.
Hashtag drink strong. Hopefully he's doing all right, Lance. He was not doing all right a year ago this weekend.
For everyone who's unaware of our inside joke here, if you can't remember, if you haven't seen previously, at that game, there was a guy in front of us in a Lance Armstrong, like U.S. Postal Service biking outfit, who was so hammered he couldn't stand up. He did puke right at his feet, didn't he?
Several times.
I thought so. I couldn't remember anymore.
Yeah.
We were making fun of him by the beginning of the game. We were mocking him by the end of the game. By that point, he was just like sitting there with just his head between his knees. I don't think he stood up the entire second half of the game. He may have been passed out.
And you know what?
It was another one of those situations where it was like his friends need to get him out of here. It wasn't quite as bad as 4 years previous when the kid busted his head wide open, but it was
up there.
And he was a grown ass man.
Yeah, he was like older than us. I would.
Yeah.
To be fair, he didn't miss a lot.
Yeah, yeah. If there's a game you wanted to pass out and not see, that's probably the one.
Yeah, but like Christian just said, the tickets were $90 to that thing. You're gonna spend $90 and then get so drunk you can't see it. I don't understand.
Were they really? I don't even remember that.
They were. TJ is a ref.
Wow,
yes, he is.
Somebody just said TJ's the most lovable character. Mm-hmm. If you guys only knew.
That's fantastic. TJ is lovable, I think. But I mean, if you knew some of the behind the scenes stuff, you might think differently. But TJ sucks. Why do they let him on the show? I agree with you, Thomas. Thomas knows what he's talking about. So yeah, the women play in a half hour, and Christian Pulisic is, according to El Gol, I think we can all trust their journalism at El Gol, being looked at by Real Madrid to go to, they're looking at Pulisic. Real Madrid's looking at Pulisic, which I made this point earlier. Every time we do a Pulisic to whatever team, and it's some sort of sources say that this team is looking at them, every big club should be looking at everyone. Everyone is on the table for Real Madrid, right? They're the biggest club in the world.
Probably.
So to say that they're looking at Christian Pulisic, they should be looking at Bobby Wood. They're going to quickly go, nah, not for us. But they should be looking at everyone. Like that's part of the deal. You know, like,
I mean, maybe they could pull an Arsene Wenger and say that they've almost signed every single player that you've ever heard of.
Yes. Except they do actually sign players when they want to. So, except for Mbappe, I guess. They lost on him, but they'll get him soon enough. So, and anybody says he'll cry if Pulisic goes to Real Madrid. Yeah, I don't really want it to happen.
Yeah.
Yet, at least. Yet. At some point, maybe. I am not I guess I'm more of a Barcelona fan than I am a Real Madrid fan. But I'm not a huge fan.
Absolutely.
I like to watch Barcelona more than I like to watch Real Madrid, but I'm not like a full-on fan of Barcelona. So I like Dortmund. They're probably my second favorite European club team behind the wonderful Arsenal. But if Pulisic went to Bayern, because I'm a country over club guy, generally speaking, I would be I would wish him well for sure. That said, I want no part of him going to Arsenal ever. Not unless Thomas Tuchel is the next boss at Arsenal or something. So not in the current climate. I do not wish that upon him or any of the other U.S. players. You see what happened to Gideon Zelalem? I mean, he's further down the totem pole than Julian Green at this point. Like,
yeah.
We were celebrating Gideon Zelalem when we got him, so to speak, and he's never played for us.
And yet, Chris Wondolowski still gets called into camps.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, why would we not? I mean, maybe there's just no one there. Like we've talked, there's this gap. You know, there's the gap after maybe 20 to 28 years old. We really don't have anybody. I mean, there's some guys. They just never got a shot.
Well, there were some guys, but for the most part, they all kind of burned out somehow, or didn't quite pan out. I think you point to a bunch of guys like Breck Shea, of guys who was like, "Oh man, he's gonna be the future," and it was like, "Yeah, he's gonna be the future next year. He's gonna be the future next year. He's gonna be."
He's the future of dropping acid.
Maybe.
Yes, Heather O'Reilly plays for Arsenal. She is awesome. I wish she was still playing with the women's national team, but she does not. But she does play for Arsenal, and she's fun on Twitter.
The women's team isn't coached by a crotchety old man who doesn't know what he's doing. So
Jill's kind of crotchety, I think.
That's probably true.
I get that vibe.
Well, let me throw this question. Seeing we're talking about the future that never came, is Dom Dwyer starting to hit that?
Not yet.
I would say yes, just because of his age. I wasn't, Pat and I discussed this the other night. I'm not a fan that, I don't believe that he should have been called up for this game next week. Next week. I had to check the dates here. I forgot it was Thursday night. To me, 28 is just too old at this point. When we're looking at 5 years until the next World Cup, 2 years really until the next meaningful game, what's the point? I mean, 18 months at least until the next Gold Cup. Okay, he's 30 at that point. The only way you have a 30-year-old that you bring in for something like that is someone who was like a fundamental part of this team, who you're just using as a bridge or a gap filler to kind of help the younger guys get along. Like, I could see where you bring maybe Michael Bradley in to teach the next player or to be the locker room presence for some of the next players. But beyond that, you're not bringing these guys in because you want them to win anything. There's no point. I mean, all in all, screw the next Gold Cup. Screw the chance to make it to the next why am I drawing a blank on it? But the Confederations Cup. The point right now is building a team that can actually do something and play in a World Cup and qualify for a World Cup. And the guys we have currently couldn't do it. So who cares? I've thought Eric Lehigh should have gotten a shot for a few years. But at this point, I'm sorry, 29, 30, whatever he is now. Bad luck, but there's nothing you can do. He's not going to be here in 5 years.
It's sort of like Kleshton and Feilhaber too. Like they were gone during the prime of their. Like Sasha didn't play when he was playing in Europe, and then he came back and
playing in Champions League. He was our one player playing in Champions League.
Yeah, which speaks to my theory that sometimes for these national team coaches, it's the guys you see more often on your TV screen that you put on the team that are more familiar. Alan Gordon, I always make this reference, but the only reason Alan Gordon played for the national team is because Jurgen lives in LA. Like, how many guys were better than him that could have played for us? But that's, it.
Does anybody want to place a wager that Bruce Arena television still has a tube to it? Isn't a flat screen? I mean, do either of you chuckleheads watch NCIS?
No, I'm not 60.
Okay. The only reason I was asking is I was wondering if Bruce Arena as well still uses the same flip phone like Gibbs does.
Fucking Gibbs.
It hasn't evolved to a touch screen. Although I'm pretty sure Gibbs probably would have done a better job than Bruce did with those last two qualifiers. But
yeah. I think just about anyone could have. Somebody just asked, and maybe anonymity anymore, I can't remember, asked, what do we think of Will Yarborough? Despite his age, I don't have a problem with a goalkeeper at 28 still getting a shot. Yarborough's has a tendency to make some stupid mistakes, but all in all, he is one of the guys who I would kind of think of if we were looking to truly build out of the back. I mean, he can kind of play with his feet.
Yeah.
But having said that, I think he's still behind probably at least the three called up for the game next week. and maybe another 2 or 3 after that. So it may be a matter of there's an awful lot of guys to fight for one position, maybe 3 positions if you look at it from the full boat. And has he done anything to jump above any of those guys? I wouldn't say so.
I'll tell you
Not
who
to this
he
point.
is above right now.
If he can cut out some of the stupid mistakes, sure. But he always has that tendency. And that is kind of one of those issues with guys who like to come out and play with their feet. But, you know, if he should be able to figure out a way to cut that down, sure. But at 28, is he going to do that? Maybe.
On the Gringos from Mexico list, Yarbrough has jumped ahead of Louis C.K. today. Having a better day.
That's probably true.
Louis C.K. It was a big one. It was a big one for me. I mean, we heard those rumors, but he was a. Come on, Louis.
So who had a worse day, Louis C.K. or Roy Moore, the judge from Alabama?
Oh, at least Louis C.K.'s weren't children, but I don't think that'll stop anyone from voting for Roy Moore in Alabama. So
Probably not. No, he's still going to get elected. Somewhere is Louis C.K. is somewhere spanking it.
well, I mean,
That's actually probably true, admittedly.
hopefully it's at least in front of a willing audience. But yeah, it's not. Yeah, the Gringos from Mexico list was basically Louis C.K., William Yarbrough, and Canelo Alvarez. I think Louis has dropped to the bottom. So if you don't know, he really was born in Mexico, I believe. Maybe his dad was from Mexico, one of the
Yes.
others. But yeah. So what did Louis C.K. do? You're gonna have to Google it. But or maybe Chris will tell you.
No, just Google it.
Somebody on the live chat
I've
will tell you.
intentionally stopped with this is an off-topic rant that I will not get into.
You haven't had enough champagne yet there? Or are you drinking the champagne of beers there?
No, this is actual champagne.
What the fuck, really?
I don't remember. Yeah, did I just
good.
tell Hunter to Google? Hunter's like 13, isn't he? Did I just really tell a child to go Google what Louis C.K. did? Fuck me, man.
Is this show gonna get lost?
We can only hope. We can only hope.
This is what happens. I told you, this is what happens when we go into these shows without a lot of things on the list.
They devolve.
It turns into this. If you guys have questions for us, you can ask them and we'll answer them. They don't even have to be about soccer. But I don't know that we really want to talk about Louis C.K. anymore.
King Leipzig says TJ fought him in high school.
The only one I fought in high school was David Rose. Do you remember that name, Chris?
No. Yeah, TJ and I really did know each other in high school. I don't remember TJ fighting anyone in high school.
It was
I would
good.
probably know of this event.
It was at soccer practice, actually.
Oh, then I should know who that is. I don't know.
Mexico Rules is here, guys. He is my favorite Mexican fan troll because he stays in character even like at times when it doesn't make sense to. Like he's really committed to the role and I like it. So how long to the US are good? I don't know.
Hopefully 2 years.
Hopefully.
Well, hopefully not actually 2 years, but
Soon.
Realistically 2 years.
Everything rides on this Portugal
Hopefully at the end
friendly.
of those 2 years, we have something positive.
We do well in this Portugal friendly. Everything's going to come out of this. I'm kidding, of course. I don't want the comments. We can't joke on this show. Like we do, but we can't because somebody will not understand what we're saying. Somebody will comment. And if like Leipzig does it, we know he's screwing around. But there's going to be some new commenter telling us that we're wrong. I still go back to the guy who really believed that we had never heard of Tottenham Hotspur.
What the fuck is Tottenham Hotspur?
I don't know.
See, there you go. I mean, there you go. Christian wants to know, why do you live in Wisconsin?
Yeah, even I was smart enough to get the hell out of it.
I moved here as a kid I moved away for a number of years. I moved back here, and then I don't know. I didn't leave the next time, and now I
There you
have
go.
kids, and I don't know.
Robert wants to know if we've tried to get the blue check mark on our Twitter page. I wrote them once. I did the little thing, and they said, no, you guys aren't cool enough yet. This was like 8 or 9 months ago. So I did it again like 2 months ago, and I have not, they didn't respond. I haven't heard. So you can go bother Twitter and tell them to give us the blue check mark. So
Oh, we did have the one show with like 900,000 viewers that they thought was a live stream or a pirated live stream.
that's true. That's true. We did have that. And then, but that's not, and that's, Twitter's got some sort of ratio or something that they're concerned about. So
Chicharito is better.
yeah,
than
that racist guy, the guy who launched was it the Charlottesville? One of those racist assholes got the blue check mark today. So maybe if we
Wait, for real?
yeah, they blue check marked him. So
We noticed you, Marcus. We really just don't have a whole lot we're talking about that's relevant tonight.
hey, you know what you guys should do? See the little dollar sign there? You can click pay us money. And then your question will go to the top of the list and it'll be like highlighted and then we'll be forced to answer it. I'm not being serious. I don't expect you to do that. But if you did, it'd be funny. So Chicharito is better than Ronaldo, says Dick Cheney. That seems like something that Mexico Rules would say. No, he is not. Chicharito is better than Messi. Yes. Yeah, Roger, yes. Max out your parent credit cards. That is not the advice that we're giving you.
Although I will say this, to be fair to Chicharito, if Cristiano Ronaldo was on West Ham, he would suck too.
Yeah, West Ham sucks.
That's probably fair.
Like I told you, I am being serious for a moment. Hate on Chicharito all you want. I didn't understand that move for him.
No.
Like, I know he wanted to go back to the Premier League. I know he probably wanted to, shove it in Manchester United's face. But that was a bad situation to go into. So
yeah.
I thought he had a better deal at Leverkusen. I think there were probably better options for Chicharito out there than West Ham. Maybe he likes London. I don't know. But yeah, that I didn't understand it.
I didn't see it as a step up. I didn't even see it as a lateral move. To me, it was a step down. And that's before West Ham kind of went into what they did this season.
Well, since the move, they've been on the decline, but this year, particularly.
Oh, but I mean, they went off a cliff this season. Maybe that's not fair. It's not like they just completely nosedived, but they've been particularly bad in the past. And some of this is before they let Payet go. They were bad, but they still were dangerous. They don't even seem dangerous anymore. They just seem bad.
Somebody asked if we have ever thought about streaming on Twitch. Isn't Twitch just video games? Or am I dumb? Don't we have to be playing video games to stream on Twitch? We could.
No
Are we going to do a show
Twitch?
playing FIFA?
Nobody wants that because then you'll get mad. I'll put my son on there. My 7-year-old son will be swearing at you.
That's the best part. That's the only part of FIFA that I like.
I was going to say, if your son was playing, he'd probably beat either me or Chris at FIFA. So that isn't saying a whole lot.
No, he just tries to always give it to Messi and then just let Messi dribble around. But instead, he'll dribble into bad areas or whatever. You can sort of, if you play an actual sort of attentive defense, you could sort of force him outside, sort of like a real defender or something. And then he'll do something stupid. He'll get pissed off. So the last time I was playing him, I was getting him to do this, and I can't remember. I think I scored, and he goes, "Stupid bitch."
He's gotten better since then, but yeah, that's still pretty much the Mexico Rules just showed his class by using their favorite word, their goal kick word.
Hey, Chris, I'm just wondering why you weren't just trying to get red cards the whole time. I would have figured that'd be your whole strategy of every time you play FIFA.
Christian, that's a good point. I've thought about doing a Patreon for USFanTV, but are you guys really going to give us your money?
What's Patreon?
It's like a thing where you can like sponsor the show for like a tiny amount of money a month, and then we can
Oh,
use that money to like I could buy a new camera or something.
huh.
Yeah, which I bought a new camera. This was supposed to be the best. I have the
I am. It's more than a game.
Logitech.
I am very stupid.
Don't do that again. That scared me, Pat.
I run it off the Mac because I do the board for these two knuckleheads. So no, I'm saying knuckleheads. What the fuck? So I run it off the Mac. So I use the Logitech whatever C930 or something like that, which is supposed to be good because it's way better than the built-in camera, but it still sucks. Like it's not good. So I need a better camera.
Where did you get Knucklehead from? What are you, like 40?
Didn't you just say knucklehead?
I called you Chuckleheads because I just wasn't going to call you, because I wasn't going to call you fucktards.
You can say fucktards.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's Chris's nickname. So
Let's see, guys. Is there anything else related to the United States soccer teams that you want to talk about?
does
anyone have a prediction for the women's game? Pat says it's 2-2.
I said 2-2. What do you guys think?
Well, I think the U.S. is going to win 2 to 1.75 just by the exchange rate.
Post-match routine.
Are American goals worth more in Canada?
So dumb.
Oh, they're going to apologize when
I'll go 2-1 U.S. I'm guessing it'll be 1 goal early and 1 goal late to bring it to seal it. I think they get 1 goal early because we are the better team, but then I think the fact that we're just not playing that well will come back to haunt us for a good 50 minutes, maybe 60 minutes of the game, the whole middle part of the game, and it'll be enough to kind of bore everyone. And Canada will score, and then we'll get one late to make it seem like we really tried at this game.
It's a very specific prediction.
I'm pretty pessimistic about all of our national teams right now. Maybe not as much
all of our soccer teams in general,
but yeah,
down the line.
Pretty much all of my sporting teams, except for the Blues. All my sporting teams, I am very pessimistic about right now. But I just feel like the women's team is very overrated right now. I think it's starting to show. I think the lack of development is starting to show, and I think they're running into a bit of the same wall that the men's team did, where their best players are all getting old and not necessarily where they were maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago, and they don't yet have a next generation to fill it. Like they're bringing up some kids who at 18 or something look like they could be special, but they're not quite there yet to carry a team. And at the same time, the rest of the world's getting better.
Mexico Fan Channel just asked, do we think the USA, the youth team that we're playing, can beat Portugal? Not if Portugal brought their A team. We'd still get our asses kicked unless there was a fluke thing happened. But it looks like it's our youth team against like a Portugal youth team. Yeah, I think we can. I think we could get killed. I think we could win. I have no idea what to really expect from that game. And like I said in the last show, collectively, it doesn't really matter. I won't be, if we lose 4-0 or we win 4-0, whatever. I want to know what individual guys look like and how they look paired with other guys.
I'm just wondering if Big Sam will have a ticket there and if he'll be scouting it.
He's learning about us.
Well, he needs a job.
He does.
I mean, he's still on gardening duty somewhere, isn't he?
Probably.
Yeah.
This is one of those games where I truly am approaching it as a friendly should be considered. I'm not going to look at it and say, oh, this means anything. I really just want to see the individual performances, see who actually looks like they're already maybe at the level to, or, have the quality to play at this level, and who doesn't.
The only things I really, truly care about are Sargent better play. If you're going to bring him, you better play. And I don't want the goalkeeper to be Bill Hamid. I don't care if it's Horvath or if it's Jesse Gonzalez. I think I'd prefer Jesse Gonzalez. Maybe a half for Jesse Gonzalez and a half for Horvath. I just don't want it to be Bill Hamid. Only because nothing against Bill, but we know who he is. I want to see more of the other guys with the national team. So yeah, that's it.
Is Josh Sargent actually training with anybody right now, or is he hanging out with Scott Gallagher? I mean, where is he in the world right now?
That is a good question.
Well, he has to wait till what, mid-February to go to Werder Bremen.
Yeah,
and we had the question of, is he allowed to be there? Like, we're not totally clear on what the rule is. He's not. He has to. We know he can't play or officially be a part of the team until he's 18. But can he
I would think he'd be able to train with them, just like Beckham would go train with different teams when MLS was in off season or whatever. I would think that it's no different than someone just getting called in, or not necessarily getting called in, but like getting a trial somewhere where there's no official connection, there's no relationship, but you can show up and practice with us. As long as he's not getting paid by them.
Sure. You would think, yeah. If he's under contract or under some sort of pre-contract, you would think that they would say, no, you're not going to be training with anybody but us now because we've invested in you. So, S. Schnar says he just can't play in any games. That's kind of what I thought. So hopefully he's there. See, Mexico rules, sometimes the trolling goes so far that it's like Pulisic is a worse Freddie Adu. See, that's too far. That's not. It's almost to the point where it's so ridiculous that it becomes funny again. But there's like a window where it's not funny. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. It's, you know what? The game starts soon. We should get this thing off the air.
Actually, I thought Mexico was doing better trolling than anybody gave him credit for, because he said Freddie Edu. So was that the bastard child of Mauricio and Freddie Edu?
I would say one nice thing about Mexico, I like their jerseys for next year. Adidas did a good job with pretty much everybody in this new crop of jerseys. So,
and Nikes are all going to look like shit.
Nikes are all going to look the same, probably.
Will they rip as easily as the NBA jerseys?
All right. This is USFanTV. We have a website. It is USFanTV.com. We have a Twitter, and we have a Facebook, and we have an Instagram, and they are all USFanTV. We hate Snapchat. You know where to find us on Craigslist. So just calm down, everybody. And we have YouTube, but you know that, right? Because you're watching. Subscribe down there. Hit that button, I believe. If you have not, thank you. If you have, tell your friends to do the same. And turn on notifications. This is something I should have been telling you for like a year so that you know when we're on the air. Some of you have, obviously, because sometimes we can do a show at noon on a Thursday and you guys are just here. So some of you have notifications turned on. So thank you for that.
I'm just wondering how you guys have no life that you can do that. Some of us actually have to go to work once in a while. Chris.
I squeeze it in. The dog showed up in the show last Thursday, but whatever. What can you do? All right.
Somebody asked if Jonathan Klinsmann isn't good enough for the national team. He's only back to playing for 3 weeks or something now, 2 weeks. He finally made the bench for Hertha, I don't know, sometime last month. He had been injured, so I would guess part of him not getting a look here is just the fact that he's barely recovered from injury. He hasn't even gotten any playing time yet. So that may be part of it. But, is he good enough? Is he better than the guys they called up? I've not seen any evidence to that. But, if he should win a starting job in the Bundesliga, then, yeah, I think you start talking about he's got a legitimate shot to get a call-up.
We've got 5 years. I think he should get a look at some point regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
TJ the Puppet.
There's a little bit of time.
Do you have any final words?
I always like to finish with fuck Wando, but I think I'm going to say Wando rules. We're going to change it up a little bit. Wando rules tonight. He's not Leipzig, but he isn't bad. He's no Leipzig, but Wando isn't bad.
There you go. Chris, final words.
Save the crew. You're done.
All right. See you not right after the match on Tuesday. We're going to do the show at the normal time Tuesday night, but we're going to be talking about the U.S. and Portugal. So go U.S. against Canada. Go U.S. against Portugal. We'll see you Tuesday night. You're done.